Okay, we can start. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's Scrutiny Children's Services Review Group. We don't have a huge agenda tonight, but we do have some members that need to leave the meeting relatively expediently. So I'll run quite quickly through the housekeeping details and the preamble. So just a reminder that the meeting this evening will be live streamed to the public. A recording of the public parts of the meeting will be available on the Council's website within 24 hours of the meeting. Remote participants joining the meeting using Teams, please turn your cameras on and use the hands up icon to indicate a question or comment. Turn microphones on to speak and off when finished. In-person attendees, please remember to switch microphones on when speaking and speak directly into the microphone and turn off when finished. Attendees, please also make sure you switch off your mobile phones or put them on the silent mode. If you need to take a call, please leave the room. Okay, so moving on to the first item of the agenda, which is apologies for absence. Any apologies?
Sorry about that, Chair. Apologies from Councillor Wahid.
Thank you. Moving on to item 2 of the agenda, which is to confirm the minutes of the last meeting on the 11th of January. Any comments on the minutes? Any corrections? No? So those minutes can be confirmed. Okay. Moving on to item 3, disclosures of interest. I would like to declare that I am a governor of Summaries Junior School. Dr. Al-Ramahi, would you like to declare your usual interests as governor of Mead Primary School and chair governor of Grasmere Nursery School?
Thank you, Chair. That's all. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Councillor Keynes, would you like to declare your usual interest as Queen Elizabeth High School governor and a virtual school governor? Some of the microphones don't seem to be working. Try that one. A yes or no will do.
Yeah, declare an interest in that.
Great. Okay, so that's a yes. Councillor Malcolm, do you want to declare the ACE interest? Yep, that's a yes. Okay, thank you. Any other interests to be declared? No, great. Okay, moving on to item 4, which is urgent business. Nothing has been brought to my attention? No. Okay, no urgent business. Item 5, references from committees of other bodies.
None, Chair.
None, thank you. Item 6, the Chair's update. Only the one thing to mention that we did agree to have a regular item on these meetings, being these updates from the school improvements plan. I've been notified that there's no updates to present at the meeting today, so that item will obviously be continued at the next meeting, but there won't be a presentation at this meeting. Okay, so that moves us on to the main agenda. We've agreed that as some of the reporting officers need to leave relatively early, we are going to shift the agenda slightly and take item 8 first, which is the Children and Young People's Mental Health Services CAMS East London Foundation report, which is on pages 53 to 75 of your agenda. Yeah, good point. Can I just ask the reporting officers just to check that just do a quick sound check on your report on your microphones, because some of them don't seem to be working.
It worked early now. Sorry?
Yours is the only one.
Okay, so it seems only my microphone is working at the moment, just some technical difficulties. Okay, just a slight technical hitch at the moment with the microphones. Only mine seems to be working.
Okay. It's working. Well done.
Good. Okay, we've at least got some of them working now.
Hello. Is that better?
Great. Good. Technical difficulty resolved. Sorry for that slight hitch. So we'll just move on to, as I mentioned earlier, item 8, which is with the CAMS team. Thank you.
I don't know if people want to ask questions or they want us to go through the brief presentation ourselves. Should we first introduce ourselves?
Yeah. Perhaps introduce yourselves, and if you could perhaps give a quick top level, I guess, overview, and then we'll proceed to questions. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Linda Hurst. I'm the General Manager for Luton CAMS owned by Elft.
Sorry, I don't think that one's working. Perhaps if you're speaking to, yeah.
Sorry, my name is Linda Hurst. I'm the General Manager for Luton CAMS and the County-wide Eating Disorders Services for Children.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Mark van Roosmalen, Consultant Clinical Psychologist and Psychological Therapies Lead for Luton and South Bedfordshire CAMS.
Should I? Yeah, I'll just introduce. Is it working? Can you hear me? No.
Use this one.
Hi, good evening. My name is Elizabeth Elliott, Consultant in Public Health for Luton Borough Council, Lead for Children and Young People.
We did share a brief presentation, which is very much just giving a summary of where we are as a service. We are following, if you go to the second slide, we are following the National Thrive model, where really the principles of Thrive is a needs-based service offer, where we offer episodic care from briefer forms of support in early intervention care to more multidisciplinary medium to longer term work, and which can also result in inpatient treatment too. We are working towards very much an integrated mental health offer, and we can say a bit more about that. What iThrive also offers is an opportunity to speak a common language with all our partners, including third sector and other partners offering emotional well-being and mental health support, but also a language that can also be commonly used with schools and other frontline providers. And it's really based on an early intervention and prevention approach that is a resilience-based approach rather than an illness or deficit model, which includes looking at whole community resilience and co-production of services. Actually, co-production runs throughout all our services up to our inpatient services and is a key principle of ELFT. So the first two quadrants, which is giving advice and getting help, the way that our services are constructed, you can think of it as a donut, where the outer ring of the donut is all our CAMS access services that work with all our frontline partners. So we've got mental health support teams and school liaison teams working in all 60 schools provisions and some of the alternative provisions, where all schools have a link clinician that can offer both whole school approaches and whole community approaches together with targeted interventions with children, young people and families. We've got a primary care access services, which has got a link clinician in every GP practice in Luton, and we have a family partnership link and embedded clinician too. We're also looking to recruit have a clinician embedded in the youth partnership service, the multi-agency service too. So that is the outer ring where we really are embedded in the community with our community partners. And then the inner ring really is our multidisciplinary teams, which is an emotional and behavioral team, an adolescent mental health team working with more severe mental health challenges, a county-wide eating disorders team. And what's new and very exciting is that our children looked after team has now become county-wide too, to include Luton. So we're in the process of developing a much closer and more comprehensive partnership with Luton Borough Council Children's Services and Children Looked After Services, which is just very good news, firstly for children, young people and families in Luton, but it's also something we've been looking forward to for a while. Is there anything to add?
Just to add to that, some of you may have seen in the press, we finally opened the inpatient unit for adolescents last Monday, the 20th of February, which is sited at the back of the Luton and Dunstable Hospital. This is long overdue. It's currently an 8-bedded unit, and there will be a more formal opening later on this year. But we've already admitted 2 patients to that, and we're looking to repatriate young people who have been based in inpatient units around the country. And it's really exciting for both Bedfordshire, Luton and Milton Keynes that we've finally got an inpatient unit local to meet the local needs of young people and their families.
So I think the key thing is a very comprehensive stepped care model of care for children, young people and families, depending on what their needs are. We also have an intensive home treatment team to try and prevent young people from having to go into the inpatient unit, a comprehensive crisis pathway and service linked in for extended hours and weekends at A&E. And we also accept self-referrals from young people, from parents, which can be through a phone call where the clinician of the day will sit down and complete the form with the parent or the young person. There is also, our principle is also there is no wrong front door. So through schools, through GP practices, self-referral, through our single point of access, which we do together with our early help partners and with our 2 third sector partners, Chums and Toko. We've got one single point of entry, and there we decide where the best pathway will be for our families. So I don't know if people have any questions.
Thank you. Yeah. So Councillor Moles. Yeah.
I would like to ask the question, as we all know, it's very difficult to get appointments to see a GP these days. Does the same apply to your service? Because during COVID and obviously the rough times, 1 or 2 people have come to me with concern. Okay, they have eventually been seen, but sometimes it's 2 weeks before a child is seen by a doctor or get an appointment, which is very disconcerting, because when a child has a mental issue, it really needs to be got immediately. And I know during COVID there was all sorts of problems with your health and everybody else's, but an awful lot of children fell in the big hole during that time.
I mean, we stayed open for the whole of the pandemic to see children, young people face to face. And obviously we had to prioritize the most risky children and young people to see them face to face. We do think we are accessible, which is proven
I
by the data.
was just going to say, I mean, our key performance indicator is for children to be seen within 11 weeks, but 11 weeks. But our young people are triaged within 5 days of the referral being received. So they're seen. The referral is triaged for risk at the day it actually arrives. So obviously a child can be seen the same day, if the risk is so great. But within 5 working days, that child will have a triage assessment, which generally over the telephone in the first instance, and then they will be seen within that 11-week period. The majority, 78% of our young people, are seen within 3 to 4 weeks for their initial assessment.
And those for routine. Our emergency assessments are seen on the day. Urgent assessments are seen, we try to see them within 24 hours or at least 48 hours, depending on the triage with the young person and the parent and the urgency that we assess it to be.
The 11 weeks concerns me quite a lot because sometimes children are in a dreadful state before the parents can actually understand what's going on, and if you put 11 weeks onto that, it becomes sometimes suicidal, doesn't it? I've just got very concerned because as a counsellor, I've got quite a few phone calls during that time. And by the time they rang me, they were being seen. But it was a time that they actually sat there and felt that they'd got no help at all. But, is the system improving? That's basically what I'd love to hear.
I think, as I was just saying, that's the maximum time to wait. The majority of our young people are seen within 4 weeks. They do have this triage at the very beginning. Some work, it actually goes on behind the scenes, i.e. talking with the parents before the child is actually seen face to face. We've thrived, we pride ourselves on, even through the pandemic, continuing to see children face to face. Some of our young people still prefer to be seen on screen. We do offer a service out of hours for crisis and home treatment, which is until 9 o'clock Monday to Friday, and from 10 o'clock till 8 o'clock Saturdays and Sundays for those young people, particularly in crises.
Thank you. Any other, Councillor Malcolm?
Thank you. I was interested that you're from public health. Yeah, so I guess I'd be interested to hear your reflections, maybe collectively, maybe just from you, whatever's appropriate, in terms of how a public health approach can be taken alongside NHS, which traditionally, I think in all of our minds would be, a medical approach for the individual, and what you think the benefits of that might be. And then I think I've got a related question as well. But I'd be really interested to hear how that's going, because I think it could be really powerful and good to take a public health approach to mental health.
And I think we absolutely do take a public health approach. I work very closely with Mark, with Linda, with the CAMS team. We are developing our public health, mental health strategy for Luton that will be coming out in the next couple of months. So that takes that prevention approach as well. And we're very much along the lines that the earlier we can intervene in a young person's issue. And that's why when Mark was saying we work with schools, we work at that early stage intervention, as well as obviously CAMS taking along that when we're looking at getting help and getting more help, that's what we have to work across. So we work in partnership. We absolutely take that approach. We're looking very much around developing trauma-informed approaches, developing resilience, really working with schools. We do a lot of work with schools, and Mark has been working on a training programme for schools. So just to give you an idea that partnership approach is really strong, and we are really strong partners in this. The I Thrive model, I think that has that holistic approach that resonates with our approach in public health as well as with the CAMS approach.
I think to give you an example of a public health approach we are taking, a population health approach we are taking, one of our mental health support teams which really has got the ultimate aim of reducing health and mental health inequalities. In our South neighbourhood, we are in the middle of doing what's called a quality improvement program with the community, asking citizen stakeholders what they want from us in terms of their mental health needs and how we can help them develop their mental health assets, not just improve their mental health equalities. And we're in the middle of a process, and we're having a big stakeholder there on the 9th of March, where we're actually going to bring all the different services together to see, because we've had a big survey with all citizen stakeholders, and we've asked children, young people, parents, community leaders, and school staff to ask them what they want from us as a public health, as a population health approach. And we're going to have a large stakeholder day to coordinate and integrate what we all do. And then there will be feedback loops with the communities to see what we're doing and what they think of what we're providing.
Related question, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's good because it's about how we can support social structures or society to be shaped differently so that people have positive mental health rather than needing to intervene. But there will always be need for intervention, I suppose, with individuals when they're in difficult circumstances, but trying to create a culture socially that is beneficial to positive mental health. And I guess it sounds like you are doing that stuff, and thinking along those lines seems like a powerful way to think about it. I guess my related question is, to get to it, what might your contribution to Luton being a child-friendly town look like in terms of some of that social structuring of society, provision of services or whatever, what do you think that might look like, I suppose, would be my question.
I don't have the theory of change in front of me that actually the citizen stakeholders helped us to develop, but we are linking very explicitly with child-friendly town, because what we do need to address is the social determinants of inequality and mental health issues, and that we see ourselves as contributing to that, helping communities to be healthy, to have a voice, to listen to them, and to respond to what they say their needs are. So to really take a needs-based service to another level, that it's co-produced with the community, but also to work together with Mama Town, Luton 2040, with Child Friendly Town, that we actually work together on addressing the social determinants of mental health, both proximal, because obviously the distal is something that politically is done, but the more proximal issues that impact on families and improving relationships.
Just wanted to add as well, there's a lot of work that we're doing around reducing stigma, because I think what we find actually is that it's not that the mental health people don't know there's a mental health, they have a mental health issue, or the family don't know. It's addressing those kind of societal, cultural barriers as well. Yeah. So we're doing a lot of work at the moment to normalise talking about mental health, both with adults and children. There's a big campaign going on for adults as well as children, and we're trying to bring those together.
That's good. Just one quick thing. I just wonder, because I think the trauma-informed practice, like training with school leaders and teachers, is good, because that holds that context in a trauma-informed way. I just wonder whether there's scope for kind of more community-based trauma-informed learning to occur that would help, families to understand, okay, we've been through trauma and we're going to have to try and engage with each other like this to support each other, because it's going to have shaped us in the ways that we respond to each other. I don't know whether there is stuff like that exists, but it strikes me that we're kind of providing it for professionals, but not necessarily providing it within the community.
Do you just think so?
Yes, I mean, the training that we are developing on mental health is not a diagnostic and symptom-led training. It's about a trauma-informed training, which is about relationships and resilience and intergenerational health and community health. So very much we would want to also reach out to parents, children and young people and share that with them and develop workshops with them. Because yes, it has to be about the community being informed, not just professionals. We certainly think we've got an important role to play in that with partners who are doing that too.
Just to add as well, we haven't talked about family hubs, but that is coming in to talk about early years. starting off with 0 to 5s, moving to 0 to 19s, that has a focus really at its very centre around supporting both perinatal and infant mental health. So really bringing in those strategies really early on in a family, when the children are very, very young, for that understanding. So to kind of, when we talk about disseminating that training, all the people within family helps will be trained to deliver that approach as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Pett?
Yeah, well, part of my question was about the family support. Well, it's obviously been answered. But how are you monitoring this process?
Well, the broader process of the quality improvement process or of the interventions we offer?
The overall process, I think.
Yes. Well, the quality improvement program is everything that we're going to be doing is going to be evaluated and monitored. So there's going to be performance indicators for everything that we do. All the interventions we do, whether it's training, it's for teachers, whether it's all our clinical interventions we offer at various levels for children, young people and families, are all subjected to clinical outcomes and performance measures, and we do report that. Also, even if we do drop-ins for parents, we ask them to complete evaluation forms, and so that we report that back. All our schools teams have to report nationally to the national mental health in schools team initiative at the Anna Freud and at the Department of Health.
So the whole process. Are you looking at other authorities as well?
Councillor Pett, sorry, could you speak into the microphone? We can't hear. Thank you.
Yeah, are you working with other authorities on this? Because there's lots of ideas going around on how to do this.
Yes. I mean, we look nationally and internationally. The quality improvement program is actually an international program that ALFT has bought as a very structured and formalized way of service improvement, using theory of change and using the principles of co-production. So firstly that, yes, and secondly, we certainly look nationally and regionally at all our partners and what we can learn, and the wider evidence base, not just only the National Institute of Clinical Excellence, which is our one sort of national body looking at health and mental health evidence. So yes, we certainly do that, but we also want to develop local practice-based evidence. So we want to evidence and collate what we do and see and ask what works and what doesn't.
Thank you. Dr. Al-Ramati, that's a question.
Thank you very much for that report, which is very welcome.
Sorry, we can't hear you. Can you check your microphone, maybe?
Is it working now? Still?
Sorry, we still can't hear you, Dr. Al-Ramati.
I can hear you online, but I don't know if they can hear.
Oh, you can hear me online.
Yeah, I can
That's
hear you.
interesting.
I don't know.
Okay, we're just going to check to see whether there's a technical issue, because it seems we can't hear anybody who's joining via Teams at the moment.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's a Teams issue.
Possibly. That's interesting if you can hear, because obviously I think you'll be speaking, Alison, at some point, you and Abby, right? So if you can't be heard, then
yeah, potentially. So I've got my officer there. So
can you email a question?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, we'll see whether we can resolve the technical difficulties, but if not, we'll see whether we can use that option. Yeah.
Thanks. think earlier the chair mentioned that they have technical problems there, and so it seems that they switched off the incoming voice from Teams, replaced it with some.
Yeah, we're having a day where technology isn't our friend today.
Oh, exactly.
I-
We could ask him.
Yeah. Dr. Al-Ramadi, would you mind putting your question into the chat box for now? Thank you.
Working again. Working again now. Oh, they've started again now.
Can you hear us now? No. Don't know if anything's happening, is it? We can't hear anything, can we?
No, we can't. We can't.
Sorry, I don't want to hear that.
Hi everyone. Just for those on the MS Teams at the moment, we're still trying to resolve the technical difficulties. Yeah, sign language. No. Oh, great. Okay, so we can see the question now. My eyesight isn't quite good enough to actually read it. Okay, I think I can read that now. So the question from Dr. Mohammed Al-Ramahi is, I can read that. Thank you for the report, very useful. Can I please ask to what extent the demography of Luton and the super diversity of our local community has been taken into account in the building up of this report?
We didn't specifically include data on ethnicity in the report, but as a service, diversity is and achieving access for all the communities in Luton is a central aim for our service. And we're actually working with public health very closely on that, both in terms of studies that we are participating in to find out the views of various ethnicities, but together with also our, specifically our community teams. One of our quality improvement mini projects within this larger community project is going to be actually trying to engage much more intensively with one particular community and ask them what they want from us and what they want from our services, and to co-produce that